Welcome to RitaMaryCommentary with co-host Gretel Corsall.
Our purpose is to introduce you to interesting, important, and fun happenings in and around Surprise.
We bring you new discoveries and things we rediscovered, some of which have been around Grand for a long time, but need revisiting because they can and will be, at some time in your life, relevant to you. In essence, we find, we explain and clarify, and introduce you to the people in the know. Welcome to RitaMaryCommentary with co-host Gretel Corsall.
We live a grand life here in Grand, and this show is geared toward helping our residents make the most of it. Our purpose is to introduce you to interesting, important, and fun happenings in and around Surprise.
Gretel, I don't know about you, but I've driven past that baseball field on Mountain View, and you know that building that's right next to it? I've always thought about stopping in there and seeing just exactly what goes on.
We should go there.
Yeah, that would be kind of fun because, I know nothing at all about woodworking and carpentry. It always intrigued me when all the guys in high school would talk about the wonderful things they created by hand in woodshop, and I've always had a yen myself in my retirement to try something new and different, and something that would be creative and fun.
Today we're just thrilled to have on our show two members from our own Sun City Grand Woodcrafters Club.
They're here to tell the residents about the group and subgroups that the club contains, all the classes that they have to offer, and all the kinds of machinery and tools which I really don't know very much about, and why you might be interested in joining such a wonderful organization.
I'd like to welcome President Don Porney and club member Steve Noy on our show today.
He is the safety officer, the chief safety officer of the club, and the past president. Welcome to the show, Steve and Don.
Thank you, Rita.
Thank you.
What is the Woodcrafters Club and where is it located?
The Woodcrafters Club is one of the original charter clubs under CAM. As you just mentioned earlier, it is located right next to the ballpark on Mountain View Boulevard. We have a facility of approximately 5,000 square feet that offers the members of Sun City Grand the opportunity to do virtually anything with wood or laminate materials in our facility.
Well, I got to ask you a question. I absolutely know nothing at all about woodworking. Nothing. I know how to take a nail and hammer it. That's about it. Why would I choose to join your club? Do you have anything for novices, for example, like me, that I could do or learn?
Well, Rita, actually we do. We have quite a few members who have never, as you mentioned earlier, worked with wood as a medium, but have always wanted to. Also in our club, we have a spectrum of individuals who have actually, retired from the industry. So we have a full range of expertise, ranging from total novices to experts. To facilitate the new members becoming involved, we do have a list of classes that will take an individual from a total novice up to a experienced woodworking personnel. Steve, would you like to expand on that a little?
Well, I think as to the why you might want to be a member of the club, there are an infinite number of reasons, but we have many people within Grand that join clubs because they want to try something different. They want to have an experience that they haven't had before. And this is one area that they can partake of. When you finish a project in wood, you've got something to look at. It's something tangible that you can take home with you, that you can make use of, that you can pass on to your children, they can put on a garage sale sometime in the future. So, but it's a, you know, there are some wonderful opportunities to actually do something with your hands and have a product when you get finished.
So in essence, if I've done something like with stained glass or maybe with clay or some other source of art form, this is just another medium that I could actually create and learn a new way of expressing myself.
It's a new skill set that you can learn, that you can work with, and it is a new medium, a different medium, but the end result is just as satisfactory and satisfying, self-satisfying as any other craft that you might get involved with.
What does it cost to become a member? And are there any special requirements?
Yes. A new member is charged $60 per year, plus a $30 initial training fee. The $30, it goes into a basic orientation and safety training. Once they've gone through that and they've been certified as a club member, then it is continually be $60 a year after that.
I see.
So,
I'm sorry, but there are no special requirements. You can have never touched a piece of wood before, and you're welcome to join the club, or you can be a very experienced woodworker.
And you must live in Sun City Grand.
Yes, like any of our charter clubs.
Like any of our charter clubs.
I kind of want to ask another question. You know, Don sort of touched on the fact that you have a wide range of members, but could you be more specific? Like, how many people are in the club? How many men? How many women? What is the background, the diversity, etc.?
Well, I don't have an exact count on the women, but we have a total of 242 members as of today. And of that 242, I think we have 6 to 8 females that are active participants in the club. As for the diversity, you know, we have a full range of, as I said, we're a retirement community. We have everybody from mailmen to doctors in the club. Steve here is an ex-attorney, I'm an ex-engineer. So, you know, there's the full spectrum there, and going back to, you know, their experience with woodworking again, we have a, you know, the complete novice that wants to do something in a new medium they've never worked in before, right up to people who have actually worked with wood all their lives and just want to continue something they've always loved.
I like to think of it as a recovering lawyer. So.
Oh dear. I understand you also have a woodcarvers subgroup and a group that makes toys.
Yes, we actually have a couple of subgroups. We have a group they call the turners, which primarily work on the lathe and do bowls and things like that.
Okay, hold on. What's a lathe?
A lathe is one of the machines that is used in the wood shop. It actually is a sort of an extended rack that you put an object on, and it spins sort of, I think most people have seen potter's wheels.
Oh, yes.
Well, you know, a lathe is sort of like a potter's wheel, but instead of vertically turning, it turns, it's on a horizontal plane where the things spin and you've shaped the material along the length of...
Like a wood bowl. You
yeah,
could make
like
a bowl.
Wood, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Or spindle legs for a chair or anything of that nature. Anything that requires the medium to be spun where you can trim the wood off at a, you know, given rate along the length of it. We've had people that come in and make, for instance, toys for kids, which are Christmas presents.
Can I just see this for just a second?
Which is part of our toy group. We've had an individual come in and make an entire dining room set, table, chairs, the whole spectrum.
Now, you actually made this with wood? Yes.
Yes, this is part of our toy group that I was mentioning earlier. As part of our subgroup, they make anywhere between 700 and 1,000 toys every year for deserving children in our community. A lot of them go to places like the Luke Air Force Base and other people that really don't have a large budget for toy purchases. Our members donate their time and materials to you know, create these toys so the kids will have something under the tree for Christmas.
Rita, you asked what you as a novice could make if you came into the club. Just one example, recently we had a new member who was a novice, had no woodworking experience to speak of whatsoever, and wanted to build a Murphy bed for his home.
Oh my Lord.
And I think when he first came to the club, he thought he might be able to get someone in the club to take on this project. But as it developed, we pointed him to some basic courses that would be, where the skills would be applicable to what he wanted to build. And when I was in the shop 2 weeks ago, while he had the build about half finished and was doing a great job, and different members have helped him with various aspects of it. That's kind of the way the place works. We are a club. We're a group of members that are interested in woodworking and that are willing to help one another. So when he runs into a problem or a challenge, why, there's always somebody there that's done it before, and they can say, this is how I would do that. So he's well on his way to having a Murphy bed, and when he's finished, he'll be able to look at that and say, I did that. That's mine. So that's pretty neat, really.
An accomplishment.
You just come in there blind and say, I want to make a toolbox. No, from what you're telling me now is that there are a series of classes and a series of things that you need to do before you can even touch a piece of machinery. Am I correct?
Well, yes and no. That would depend on your experience level. If you come in and you say you want to build a toolbox, well, a toolbox has a lot of different aspects to it, a lot of different disciplines required. You may need just a little help in some of the areas that, for instance, a particular type of joint to build the ends together. This is a dovetail joint, which, a lot of drawers are formulated making dovetail joints. So that might be one thing that you need to learn, or you may need to have the full spectrum of classes to be able to do all the aspects of putting that toolbox together.
Rita, our primary concern is that people are having fun doing what they're doing, they have the opportunity to learn, and that they're doing it safely, because we don't want people getting hurt. And we have an enviable safety record. And it's because we do the initial training, which is partly a training process, but it's also partly so that our trainers can assess the level of skill of the new member. Then we can advise what they might want to do in terms of further classes and so on. We don't want anybody getting hurt, though, so we try to do things that are interesting and do them safely. Beyond the basic safety class, we don't require that you take any classes. You don't have to take a class for the average machines, the run-of-the-mill machines that we use. There are some specialty machines that we do require additional training for. But for the most part, if you feel comfortable and you're competent and our evaluator decides that you can operate the machine safely, you don't need to take classes to work in the shop.
So you do have an evaluator who will take each individual and look at his skill level and see if he needs any additional training.
That's right. Every new member goes through we call it the basic operational training class, a BOT class, and as I say, that's partly so that the new member can become familiar with the equipment in the shop, but it's also so that the trainer can evaluate the new member.
Excellent.
I guess I would be starting at zero because I didn't even know what some of the things were when you were explaining when I took an initial visit to the shop. So I guess I'll be taking a lot of classes if I do decide to join the Woodcrafters.
And you'll have a lot of fun doing it, excuse me.
I have no idea, for example, what a scroll saw or a joinery or a basic lathe application is. Can you tell us something about that?
Let's just think about a drawer. Everything, when you build something out of wood, you start with some pieces of wood, and somehow you have to put them together, and that's what joinery is all about. This joint is one type of joinery, and you see it on high-end drawers.
Yes, these are drawers that will not fall apart.
That's right, and they will hold together almost without any glue or anything else. But there are at least a dozen other ways to put those drawers together. Each one of those is a form of joinery.
I see.
So as you begin to assemble a project, if you want, if you can see the pegs in the top of this, that's another form of joinery.
Oh, yes.
So joinery is simply the way that pieces of wood are put together and made to hold together.
I see. So, in other words, pegs, there's wooden pegs that go actually into, so you have to actually drill into the wood and
That's
then
right.
put the peg in and, oh my, I'm going to have such fun.
Of course.
Yeah. For instance, just to take this this little plane, you'll notice that there's some pegs or dowels that are used for the exhaust ports. There's pegs that are used to hold the wings together, and also, you know, a peg on which the wheels are. So you have all those different aspects that go in, including the tail hook.
Oh my.
So a lot of different things.
No nails.
No nails, that's correct.
We do use some screws occasionally. In fact, we do have a couple machines that actually drill inset screw indentations where you can put screw, but I've yet to see a nail in the shop.
We jokingly refer to the, we have a group of people that work on the lathes a lot. Most of us use lathes at one time or another, but so we have a kind of a running joke that some people make flat things and some people make round things. The people who work on the lathes make round things. So
I
Does that
see.
tell you something about the people?
I won't even try to venture into that possibility, really.
Very
We refer
smart
to
of
them
you.
as the turners.
Very
Now-
smart of you.
Let me just ask you a question. I know you do a lot of things with your members. You have all these different subgroups. I kind of wanted to find out a little bit more about some of your class or courses that you have available. And does that pertain to one subgroup or another? Like I saw all these wonderful toys, but then I heard about the fact that you have like wood carvers and that sort of thing. Could you tell us a little bit more about some of those subgroups?
Well, the toy group is sort of an anomaly. In fact, it incorporates all different facets of woodworking. For instance, we have some of the turners that might go in there, and you'll notice that the little man, how he's turned and round and things. So you'd have a turner that might do that, and we'd have, you know, different people with different skill levels, all incorporated into producing the toys. So that's sort of not a discrete subgroup. It's sort of a compilation of everybody we have that wants to get involved in a community project. The turners are, you know, sort of a subgroup